At this time, I'm open to questioning, if you guys have any questions.
On the news, they said some of the people were missing from the scene of the crime. Have they been found?
Those were the kids. The children, it is believed, again, we only have a 13-year-old boy's event. The way the events happened, we have a 13-year-old boy telling us what happened. So the 13-year-old boy was able to reach the community after being lost, is what everybody was saying, for several hours. He is the one that did not receive any wounds, any bullet shots. And he reached the community at night last night, and he let everybody know where the other 5 children were. All 5 of them were injured. All 5 of them were hiding in the bushes. And once the Mexican government arrived on the scene, the family was able to, once the Mexican government arrived, the cartels stopped shooting. They stopped attacking each other. So that is when they were able to locate the children. They knew that the children were out there. They knew that the children had not been killed instantly. They also knew the kids were injured. But once the other family members of mine arrived on the scene with the Mexican government, it was the federal government aiding them and also the army, parts of the Mexican army that are located or established in the state of Chihuahua, accompanied them all the way to the border line between the 2 states. And about 5 kilometers into Sonora is where this happened. They located the little girl that was believed to be dead right then and there. Sorry. They were also able to find the other 2 vehicles. They didn't know where they were. They were under the hope and belief that they would actually find everybody, that there was a mistaken of identity and that they had been taken. They were hoping they were going to find them all. That didn't happen. They found the vehicles with the 2 women, one inside the vehicle of her own vehicle and the other one outside, and the baby inside of the Suburban. And it was about 10 o'clock last night. Once they arrived on scene, the family members inside of the town were able to join them in the search. They found the 5 children that had been shot. They were exactly where the 13-year-old boy had left them 5 hours earlier. One little girl was still missing at that point. They started looking for her all over the mountainside. This is mountains. This is not just straight land. This is a whole bunch of mountains, a whole bunch of trees, a whole bunch of bushes. They found the little girl. She had been shot in the back and in the foot, and she is alive. She's being treated in a U.S. hospital. Every single person in that caravan is a U.S. citizen.
Your family is now in the middle of a large international discussion about country-to-country relations and safety of American citizens in Mexico. What's that like, trying to deal with that?
Hard, very, very complicated. My brother has been very involved in it. My father has been involved, let's just say, taking a back seat to it all. He has allowed the younger generation take hold and try to see if there's any way that we can be more secure. Again, these communities have existed for generations down there, years and years, tens of years. And all of them have dual nationality. And there is a need for safety. There is a huge need for security between the 2 governments to ensure the safety. It's a rumor. I would love to say it's been confirmed, but in the last few years, couple of years, 2-3 years, the number of cartels have, I won't even say tripled, they have quadrupled. They've jumped from 6 to over 30.
So do you think President Obrador's plan to try and change the way the government's approaching cartels is working?
Absolutely not. It's not working. I'm not saying violence is a response to violence. I don't run a government, thank heavens. It's hard enough running a law firm. But it's not working. There needs to be something else. I'm not sure what it could be, but it used to be beautiful down there. Beautiful. We could walk the streets until midnight, perfectly fine. We can't do that anymore. Sorry. So yes, there's got to be changes. There's got to be safety implemented. This doesn't only affect the Mexicans. It doesn't only affect the Mexican side. It affects a lot of people here too. And families, huge families that are being hurt because of it.
Denise, can you share with them how you're related to the
Yes, but that's going to be kind of hard.
I know.
Nita and her 4 children were the last of the 3 in the caravan. She is my first cousin. She grew up in a home approximately 2 blocks from my home. My mom's home, from my parents' home. And she has 7 beautiful children, 4 of which were killed. She was in the vehicle in that video that everybody sees that absolutely there's nothing left. At this point, I talked to my father approximately an hour and a half ago, and at this point the vehicle has not been released. They haven't left with the vehicle because they're trying to get forensics done to establish that it was in fact her 4 babies and her that were inside of the vehicle. She is my father's brother's daughter. And my uncle and aunt are up there right now. They will not leave until that vehicle leaves. They slept right next to that vehicle. They didn't sleep. They've been there since the Mexican government escorted them up there. They've been next to that vehicle and they refuse to leave until the vehicle is escorted off of the mountain and whatever needs to be done. But there's nothing left. You can see by looking at that vehicle in that video. There's nothing left of them. The vehicle was torched.
Where does the family go from here?
Funerals, a lot of prayer, and a lot of help for those children. There's a lot of kids, a lot of little ones under the age of 13, 14 that need medical treatment and that need support. It's try to get all the help we can get from both governments, as much help as they are willing to provide. We're hoping that the governments, they work together. They do. I'm not saying they don't, but we need a little bit more. We need more than what's going on. So maybe it's a little bit more demands, a little bit more getting in front of the media and in front of the governments and demanding some kind of support so that this calms down. The other family members, Donna, 43, I have twin sisters. They're older than me. Donna is my cousin, and she is my twin sister's best friend. And she is the one that was found inside of her vehicle with 2 of her little ones, and the 6 little ones that were able to escape were hers. So these kids are now without a mom. The other, Christina is a mother of 7. She's the mom of the baby girl that was found. Baby Faith, her name goes with her today. Christina is married to a cousin of mine. And my cousin was home, actually, on the Chihuahua side with his other children. His wife had traveled to her hometown, which is in the little town in Sonora, for a family event, and she was on her way back to her husband and her other children with her baby. And she is gone. So, of the 9 people killed, we have 4 bodies to bury. there's 5 of them that we're not going to be able to bury at this point.
Denise, how can Kansas City help? How can people here help?
One of our family members has opened a GoFundMe page. The GoFundMe page is a national, I believe it's national, it's all over the place. I really don't have it in front of me. But the GoFundMe page is for funeral expenses. It's for medical expenses for these kiddos that are right now in the hospital receiving medical treatment, surgeries, removal of bullets. And that's what we're hoping, is to help the families pay the bills, not so much meals and transportation. The families, we can support each other in reference to meals, transportation, all of that's being organized. There's a lot of us, thank heavens, and we're all moving with all that. It's the big bills that are coming, the helicopter rides, the emergency transportations, the hospital bills. That is what's going to hit us, and it's going to hit us hard. So that is, besides respecting the fact that it is a tragic time for me and my family members, Kansas City can help us by helping us pay that, helping us donate $1, donate 50 cents, and help us try to see if we can help these families pay these bills. They're going to be monstrous, I can only imagine.
Has there been any discussion of leaving that part of the country or the community?
It's not an option. And it's not an option not because they can't, but because they've been there for generations. They have lives there. They have all investments there. They have crops. They have trees that take up to 7 years before they even produce. And now they're producing. This is their livelihood. And to think they're going to pick up and move so the cartels can pick up and move into their homes that they have built with the sweat of their labor and years and years and years of sacrifices so the drug cartels can come in and take over is something that understandably they're hoping the government helps them stop before they get to that point.
Do you know if they were, like if this was a surprise attack, or did they stop them to ask questions before they started firing? Do you have any of that information?
It was a surprise attack. The first attack was less than half a mile from the town, the little town, from the entrance of the town. The other 2 attacks happened further up the road, about 5 kilometers further up the road, and it was definitely a surprise attack. It was a surprise attack. This was not something that they were ever expected. If these families, if they would have ever even imagined there was something going on, they would have never allowed 3 women and their children to travel alone the roads that they've been traveling for decades. If they knew that this was going to happen, if there was any indication that they knew this was going to happen. And it did happen in the middle of the afternoon.
For other families in Kansas City area around the U.S. that have family in northern Mexico in similar types of areas, is there anything to say for possibly calming their minds, or any?
I think depending on where you're coming from, depending on what kind of your family situation is, I think my family is at an advantage and at a disadvantage. Advantage meaning we have double citizenship, so we can ask the U.S. government, please aid us, receive us at the border. We have our passports, we can show this. There's families that don't have that possibility and don't have the voice to be able to say, receive us at the border, let us in, take care of our wounded, take care of our needy. We have a disadvantage because we look like this. We are targeted because of the way we look. We are targeted. Now, obviously, not all of them look like me. My dad would say, wait, what about me? My dad does not look like me in reference to my skin color. But there is definitely that disadvantage. The kids went around speaking English, talking English, listening to English music. They live in homes that are similar to the homes in the United States. And that's a very big advantage, but at the same time it could be a very disadvantage. So in reference to your question, I'm going to say, if you have the advantage to have family here and family there, demand what you can from your government in regards to safety. Demand what you can. And if you don't have that advantage, if you don't have the ability to have dual citizenship, and you only have family on one side of the border, which is the uncertain and the scary side, help your family on the other side. Help them with whatever you can to help either have a voice and demand security by the Mexican government. But again, we had it. My family has had security from the Mexican government at this point. We are definitely very thankful for that. This would not have been able to be accomplished. To get in there, find the kids, get the kids out of there, get my family members that are still up there safe and that traveled up there last night in the middle of the night trying to get those kids. So the Mexican government is helping us. We need the American government and the Mexican government to reach some kind of agreement to continue with the help.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you heard of the incident?
I have a lot of family members down there, and we have a WhatsApp group. And one of my aunts, who was half a kilometer away from what had happened, put it on the group. There's been something horrible, something's going on, there's shooting going on, and a vehicle's on fire, and it's exploding. Something's going on. Get somebody over here. Get the men here. That's how we found out. And then it just message after message after message coming in. We can find him, we can't get to him, the shooting's going on, and it was hours and hours and hours of pins and needles. I knew my dad was on his way up the mountain with a few of my siblings, and the Mexican government was backing them. They were taking him up there. And it was approximately 7 hours of not being able to contact my father. So it was awful until we found out that they arrived in safely to the area. But it was all through WhatsApp. That's how we found out. And it hit the news this morning. I probably got about 3 hours of sleep last night, making sure that they found the last little girl. They found her last night close to midnight. And then making sure that they were all transported, that they were all safe. So that's how we found out. That there's no signal up there. There is some homes with Wi-Fi because they are able to take whatever they can here and make it work there. And that's why WhatsApp works up there. There is a small town, really small town. Bavispe is the name of the town. And they do have cell service there, but they were not going to travel to the town to try to get this out. It all happened through whoever had Wi-Fi.
Will you be traveling yourself to Mexico for the funeral, or are you concerned for your safety?
I'm not concerned for my safety, and yes, I am traveling for the funerals.
Why aren't you concerned after what just happened?
Because the Mexican government has stepped up. They now have ensured safe passage between the towns and between the border. They know that there's a lot of us that are concerned and are willing to travel and are willing to show our support by being there and being present. And I'm hoping that that is enough to ensure all of our safe passage, whoever's going to travel or whoever decides to travel between one town and the other, that the Mexican government, the federal government, and the two states' government will ensure our passage. Nobody's going to be traveling alone.
You touched on this briefly about the area down there and the violence that's there, but for people here in Kansas City who don't understand why that's such a violent region, are you able to explain that?
That region has recently gotten really violent. It's not something that's been going on for a long, long time. The violence between the cartels, everybody's aware of what's going on, but in these secluded towns, in these secluded municipalities, it started a few years back, and recently it's gotten really, really bad. And what's going on is the Chihuahua cartel, the cartel that is stationed or comes out of Chihuahua, wants to take over the territory of Sonora. And Sonora cartels want to do the same thing and take over the Chihuahua cartels area. of working area. And so it is my family's belief that the idea is to get as many people as possible addicted to this stuff, this crap, to have a bigger hold on the communities, to have a bigger hold on being able to control the areas. And so it is getting violent because they want control over the areas and over the small municipalities, that there is hardly no medical treatment, there is hardly no access to all of that.